can feel the blood creeping up from the heathens. Got will, got fight, got pride, got reason. If they wanna go eat, then you know I'm gon' feed them. If you're coming for me, hope you're ready for a demon. I got eyes in the back of my head, I'm seeing. Take me for granted and you know I'm leaving. I'ma take what's mine with the webs I'm weaving. I could take this crowd from seeing to believing. Got a taste for blood and my tongue keeps bleeding from the words I spit. So sharp, so freezing, so cold. Behold, frostbite they feeling. I could tear you apart or I could go heal them. Don't believe in.
What's going on, Rangers fans? Welcome to yet another edition of From the Blue Seats, a New York Rangers podcast presented by DraftKings. I'm Jimmy Fanizzi. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Make sure you follow us on X and Instagram at BlueSeats94 and use the hashtag BlueSeats to chat with us on any and all topics at hand. Also, make sure you like and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube and subscribe on all audio platforms, and be sure to rate us 5 stars. It would mean the world to us. I wanted to do this episode on this particular first topic a couple days ago, but I ended up getting food poisoning and I couldn't do it. So today is May 19th at the time of this recording. The conference finals start tomorrow, May 20th. We'll get into our picks later on in the show. But for this particular topic, I wanted to do it a couple days ago, and unfortunately, I ended up getting sick. Before I even get into my version of this particular list, I saw this on X from @NYRFanatic, Snark Messier. He reposted an article by Arthur Staple of The Athletic, and this is basically Arthur Staple's ideal offseason for the New York Rangers. Now, there's a lot here. I'm not going to go through in particular detail every single one because I have my own list to get to, but let's just go over it briefly here. First of all, he said, trade Chris Kreider to the Columbus Blue Jackets for a pair of third-round picks. Horrible idea, if you ask me. Look, I said that Chris Kreider more than likely is not coming back next year. I would like to see him back personally to try and redeem himself, but I don't think he's coming back. But to trade him to Columbus for a pair of third-round picks, do people not watch hockey? Horrible idea, in my opinion. Trade Mika Zibanejad and a second-round pick to the Chicago Blackhawks for future considerations. Okay, first of all, can we stop with the future considerations nonsense? Can you explain what future considerations are? Please. But anyway, trade Mika Zibanejad to Chicago and a second-round pick. First of all, Mika Zibanejad has a no-move clause, meaning he has full control, and he has already said he's not going anywhere. Unless something is going on behind the scenes where he has said, hey, I want to waive my no-trade clause, then we'll have a different discussion. But as of right now, he is not going anywhere. And plus, you really want to trade him to the Chicago Blackhawks? That doesn't sound like the ideal situation for Mika. Chicago's been in a rebuild for many years, and quite frankly, I don't think they're going to be good again this upcoming season. And I know they're celebrating 100 years like the Rangers are, but I really don't expect much from the Blackhawks. So in my opinion, it would be a horrible idea to even think about trading Mika Zibanejad to the Blackhawks, even if he waived his no-move clause. But anyway, Brock Besser. Brock Besser is an unrestricted free agent, for those that don't know, to a 3-year deal worth $6 million per season. Correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't Brock Besser turn down an 8-year contract worth $8 million per year somewhere? What makes you think he's going to want to do a 3-year deal worth $6 million per year? Bad idea. Sign unrestricted free agent Adam Gaudette to a 3-year deal worth $2.8 million per year. That one I actually do not mind. Adam Gaudette is a good player, so I wouldn't mind that at all, actually. Sign restricted free agent Will Cooley to a 2-year deal worth $2.75 million per year. I love that idea. I love it. Will Cooley needs a contract extension immediately, especially after the season that he had this past year. He deserves a contract extension. If it were me, I would give him maybe a 3-year extension, but hey, I'm all for re-signing Will Cooley. Good call there. Sign Matt Rempe to a 2-year deal worth $1.25 million per season. Again, not a bad idea. Let him go out there and learn. Sign Adam Ekstrom to a 1-year deal with $1 million. Not a bad idea. Trade Carson Soucy to the Utah Mammoth. In case for those that don't know, the Utah Hockey Club are now going to be known as the Utah Mammoth, and congratulations to them. I look forward to their future. Trade Carson Soucy to the Utah Mammoth for a 5th-round pick. That one I don't mind either. Look, Carson Soucy was just a rental at this point. I don't expect him to stay with the New York Rangers, so I wouldn't mind him in a trade to the Mammoth, though. That could be interesting. Trade Dylan Garand, who's the Rangers goalie prospect in the AHL, to the Vegas Golden Knights for Nick Hague, and sign Hague to a 3-year deal with $4.25 million. So you're automatically going to give up on one of the Rangers' top goalie prospects. Okay, I'll play along. Look, no disrespect on Nick Hague. I actually think he's a pretty decent player, but I'm not giving up on a goalie prospect that easily. Sign Keandre Miller to a 3-year deal with $5.5 million. Why would you even consider that? Keandre Miller is one of the most inconsistent players I've ever seen on the Rangers. I would have traded him months ago before the trade deadline. I would have traded him at the trade deadline, and I would have traded him right now. There is no need to re-sign Keandre Miller. Look, I like the kid a lot. I wish him well. I really, really do. But I'm not giving him a 3-year deal with... He's not even worth $3 million a year. That's how inconsistent he's been. So no, I am not re-signing Keandre Miller. He should have been traded a while ago. And finally, sign Nate Schmidt to a 1-year deal worth $1 million. Also not a bad suggestion. So I only agree with him on a couple of things here. So based on this list by Arthur Staple, I've compiled my own list of my top 5 off-season suggestions for the New York Rangers. So let's not waste any more time. And again, this is my own opinion, not fact. If you agree or disagree, that's totally fine. Let me know your thoughts and leave your own list on X and Instagram at BlueSeats94. Or if you're watching on YouTube, leave a comment down below. Much appreciated. So let's get in this list here. It's my list, my top 5 off-season suggestions for the New York Rangers for the 25-26 season. So here we go. Number 5, I have re-sign Will Cooley to a 3-year contract worth about $3 million per season. Now, Will Cooley played all 82 games this past year, had 20 goals, 25 assists for 45 points, and had a plus-minus rating of +12. This was Will Cooley's breakout season. In a season that really went completely downhill, he was one of the lone bright spots for the New York Rangers. He absolutely deserves a contract extension. So again, I would sign him to a 3-year, $3 million contract extension. Will Cooley absolutely deserves it. I don't need to get into any more details there. He deserves it. So that's number 5. Re-sign Will Cooley. Number 4, address team communication. Now, what do I mean by this? There seems to have been some sort of disconnect this past season between the players and the coaching staff. The players went out there almost every single night and acted like they didn't even care. I don't know what kind of message was being sent in the locker room before games, during intermissions, or after games, but it clearly was not setting in. Now, I get it. The Rangers were still in the playoff race till the very end, but does that really matter? No, quite frankly, it doesn't matter when you have poor communication skills. You fired Peter Laviolette. Now you bring in Mike Sullivan. He's going to either have a new crew or he's going to bring his crew with him, and there better be better communication skills between him and the veteran players. Because if the veterans do not step up and take whatever he has to say to heart, then we are going to have a serious issue, and we're probably going to be in the same boat next year as we were this past season. So there needs to be an upgrade with the communication skills, and there needs to be a message sent saying, hey, we are not going to tolerate what happened this past season. We're going to go out there and work our asses off to make sure that we are competing for a championship. And I think that's what Mike Sullivan is going to do, and I think he's going to help the communication a lot better within the organization. So that's number 4. Work on team communication skills. Number 3, sign Aaron Ekblad. I know some of you are probably going to turn this off right now and call me an idiot, But hear me out before you do. I understand that Aaron Ekblad has a little bit of an injury history, and he got suspended for PEDs a little while back. But he's 29 years old. He won a Stanley Cup with Florida last year. He's back in the conference final this year. And again, we're going to go over conference final picks in a little bit. But Aaron Ekblad is a terrific defenseman. In fact, if I can pull up Aaron Ekblad's numbers here really quick, for the regular season, he played in 56 games, had 3 goals, 30 assists for 33 points, and a plus-minus rating of plus 11. Yes, I understand those are not the numbers you specifically want for a defenseman, but they're pretty solid. I understand the goals could be a teeny bit higher, but Aaron Ekblad is really not that known for scoring all that much. He is more of a passer with the puck, and he can lay the body. And so far in this postseason, at the time of this recording, he's played in 8 games, has 2 goals, 4 assists, for 6 points, and a plus-minus rating of plus 3. Signing a guy like Aaron Ekblad could really bolster up the Rangers' defense, which I've been complaining about for a decade. The defense has been such a weak point for the Rangers, it's a joke. And you saw it last year where they had no support in front of either Shesterkin or Jonathan Quick. So you want to bolster up that defense? Sign Aaron Ekblad. He's in the last year of his 8-year extension with Florida, and all signs are pointing to that his next contract could be 7 years and up to $6.9 million per season. Now, will he get that? I have no freaking clue. But you want to send a message? You want to bolster up that defense? In my opinion, you should go out there and sign Aaron Ekblad. I know Columbus is going to be a hot target for him too, but if you're the Rangers, I would hop on that train quick. Number 2, I feel like this is going to be more obvious, but trade K'Andre Miller. I mean, do I really need to say any more? Look, again, I've been clamoring for K'Andre Miller to get traded a while ago, for about a year. I clamored for him to get traded before the season started last year. I clamored for him to get traded before the trade deadline, during the trade deadline, after the trade deadline, and now I am clamoring for him to get traded today. Today. Again, I really like the kid. I wish him well. I want him to succeed. But he is one of the most inconsistent defensemen that I have ever freaking seen. Heck, maybe you pull off a K'Andre Miller, Aaron Ekblad trades for some unknown reason. Who the hell knows? I doubt it since Ekblad's going to be a free agent, so you just sign him outright. But hey, look, if for some reason you don't trade Miller and you sign Ekblad, maybe Ekblad can help him out. But I really don't think it's going to make much of a difference regardless, so I really don't need to say anything more. Just trade K'Andre Miller. That's number 2. That's plainly obvious. And finally, number 1 is an issue that, quite frankly, needs to be addressed, and it needed to be addressed since the middle of the season. Get more support for your goaltending. And I'm talking about offensively this time. I've clamored about the Rangers' defense for far too long. We know that's been an issue. Their offense this past season was abysmal, especially on the power play. If you can't provide some offensive support for your goalie, you are not going to win that many games. Again, this goes back to the communication issue. Where is the communication on the power play that it was so damn dreadful that it was almost at the bottom of the league? Where was the communication? How many times have we seen this team try to get set up on the power play and there were no open lanes, they were too hesitant to shoot, and when they did shoot, they either missed or shot it high off the glass? How many times have we seen that? How many times have we seen them try the pretty pass and it didn't freaking work? How many times have we seen one individual player try to tee up a shot and he fakes it, but he tries to go for it anyway, and he just flat out either blows a tire or breaks his stick or just flat out misses? We've seen it all too much this past season. Too much. You don't think a goalie gets frustrated when a team can't score for him? Forget about blocking shots and creating traffic in front of the net. That's one thing. But when you can't score, you got to score to win games, you know. You got to score. If you can't score to help out your goalie, you have a serious problem on your hands. The Rangers need to do something to address the offense. I don't care who you have to sign. I know some people are going to tell me Brock Besser. I mentioned it before. He turned out an 8-year, $8 million a year contract recently, if I'm not mistaken. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong on that. I probably am. But what makes you think he's going to want to sign with the Rangers for, say, a 3-year contract worth $6 million a year? He's not going to want to do that. He's going to want way more than that. So it's not worth it to sign Brock Besser, in my humble opinion. I don't care who else you have to sign. Get somebody who can, A, communicate on the power play, and B, shoot the damn puck. It really is. Look, I can't play hockey for the life of me, but I'm pretty sure that shooting a puck comes natural to these guys. So go out there and shoot. Score. Help your goalie. Get some offensive support. People who can't play hockey like myself also should know that you need offense to win games. You need it. So that's number one. Get more offensive support. It really is not that difficult. Coming up next, we are going to make conference finals picks. But first, a quick word from our sponsors. The NBA 82-game grind is done, and now the real fun begins. The NBA playoffs are here, and it's time for all the high-stakes drama, clutch moments, and jaw-dropping plays. I can't wait. If you're looking to make the playoffs even more exciting, DraftKings Sportsbook has you covered as the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Try placing a bet on your favorite player's performance. Will they drop 30 points, 40, or more? It's your call. And here's something special for first-timers. New DraftKings customers bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Make it a playoff run to remember with DraftKings. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code THPN. That's code THPN for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPENY or text HOPENY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, 21 and over. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/ice.
All right, we are back, and it's time to make some picks for the conference finals in the Stanley Cup playoffs. But before we do, just to quickly recap my picks on the conference semifinals. Winnipeg and Dallas. I picked Dallas in 6. Ended up nailing that one, thankfully. Not to brag, but anyway, I digress. No, in all seriousness, look, that turned out to be a tighter series than I anticipated. I expected it to be close, but I didn't expect it to be that close. Look, for some reason, Connor Hellebuyck folds in the playoffs, but he actually impressed me a little bit in that series against Dallas. Just a little bit. Still came up short, but he certainly looked a lot better to me than he did in the first round against St. Louis. So hats off to Hellebuyck, but I still didn't trust Winnipeg. I had Dallas in 6. Dallas ended up winning Game 6 in overtime to advance to the conference finals in the West. I also had Vegas in 6 over the Oilers, and yeah, I was wrong. I mean, man, the Oilers continue to make me look stupid. I mean, if it's not them, look, Toronto made me look stupid when they won their first round series against Ottawa. I didn't trust Toronto that much against the Senators, but Senators made me look stupid there. But Edmonton continues to make me look foolish. I mean, I thought Vegas was the much better team coming in, but once again, don't count out Connor McDavid or Leon Draisaitl because they will just continue to punish you. Despite the... Look, can you imagine if Edmonton had an actual goalie? Again, no knock on Stuart Skinner. He's been great. But can you imagine if Edmonton had an actual goalie, what they'd be able to do? They might actually be able to get things done. But I will say this. I will shut up about Stuart Skinner if he goes out there and wins a Stanley Cup. I'll shut up about him then. But until I see it, I still don't trust Edmonton's goaltending. But regardless, Edmonton continues to make me look stupid, and they ended up beating Vegas in 5. Damn. It wasn't even close. So it'll be Dallas and Edmonton in the West. And in the East, I picked Florida in 6. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Florida in 5 over Toronto. And look, I'll give Toronto some credit. They made that series a lot closer than I anticipated. Considering the fact that I do not trust them in the playoffs, they finally won another playoff series against Ottawa, but it was the defending champs. You knew they were going to find a way. And look, when they forced that Game 7, I said, ooh, I might be in trouble with my pick here because Game 7 is in Toronto. That atmosphere is going to be raucous, but sure enough, they had a 3-0 lead at second intermission. People were leaving. How do you leave a Game 7 that has 20 minutes to go in it? You're only down by 3. A 3-0 lead is not safe. Sure enough, Toronto ended up making it 3-1, and then Florida pulled away. But even still, how do you leave? It's really ridiculous. But anyway, Florida ended up pulling it out in 7. So I was right on the team, just the wrong amount of games. So Florida advances. And then I also had the Capitals in 6. So I was clearly wrong on that. Carolina ended up taking care of business in 5 games. And once again, it wasn't even close. I mean, Carolina scares me, despite the fact that I still do not trust their goaltending. Look, Freddie Anderson has really shut me up so far. He's proven me wrong. And look, Carolina has a great team. I trust Rod Brind'Amour. I trust him with my life. But look, despite the fact that I still don't trust their goaltending, Carolina has been a massive problem. And now they're going to face Florida in a series that I think has 7 games written all freaking over it. But I will make my pick for that series in a little bit. Let's start off with Dallas and Edmonton. Look, I've said it from the get-go that I thought Dallas is a more complete team, and I still think that way. Especially the fact that they got Miro Heiskanen back and Jason Robertson back. They're healthy. They have great goaltending. And that environment in Dallas is going to be a problem for Edmonton. It already was a problem for Winnipeg in that Game 6. But look, again, I'll give Edmonton a lot of credit. They've really shut me up this postseason. They're back in the conference final. But at the end of the day, I still trust Dallas with my life. I had them at the Stanley Cup Final before the season started, and I stand by that. Dallas is going to the Stanley Cup Final, and they will beat the Edmonton Oilers in 6. So Dallas in 6 games over the Edmonton Oilers. And finally, we have Florida versus Carolina in the East. The conference finals kick off tomorrow, by the way, May 20th. At the time of this recording, it's May 19th. They kick off tomorrow, May 20th, with Florida and Carolina. And again, like I said, this series has 7 games written all over. It's going to be a dogfight, and if you think differently, I don't know what the hell you're watching. Both teams can score. They can defend. I give the slight edge in goaltending to Florida, but hey, again, Freddie Anderson has been great so far this postseason. He always seems to show up when it matters most, so I'll give him credit there. But again, I had Florida going back to the final at the beginning of the season, and I still stand by that. Florida will take care of business against Carolina in 7 games. Now, I will say this. If we somehow, some way, get a rematch of 2006, where it's Carolina versus Edmonton, that is going to be must-watch television. I want to see if the Oilers can get their revenge from nearly 20 years ago on the Carolina Hurricanes. That will be a series to watch. But to me, I still stand by my pick of Dallas versus Florida in the Stanley Cup Final. So I will pick Dallas in 6 over Edmonton, and I will pick Florida in 7 over Carolina. But let's hear from you. Who do you have going to the Stanley Cup Final? Let us know on X and Instagram at BlueSeats94. Use hashtag BlueSeats and leave a comment down below if you're watching on YouTube. But that is going to do it for us. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you like what you saw or heard, make sure you hit that like button on YouTube and subscribe and hit that bell so you're notified of all episodes that are posted. Also, make sure you follow us on all social media at BlueSeats94 and use hashtag BlueSeats to chat with us. And subscribe to us on all audio platforms as well, like Apple, Spotify, YouTube Music, And wherever you listen to your podcast, and be sure to rate us 5 stars. It would mean the world to us. I also want to hear your thoughts on what your offseason suggestions are for the New York Rangers. Leave your own top 5 list in the comments below on YouTube. And again, on social media at BlueSeats94. It's going to be a very interesting offseason for our boys. Let's see how it plays out, and let's hear some conference finals picks as well. I'm Jimmy Fanizzi. This is From the Blue Seats, a New York Rangers podcast presented by DraftKings. Go Blue Shirts, and I'll catch you next time. Peace!